David Smith of the Jersey Shore Basketball League, joined alongside Dan Yuzerski and Alec Crowdhamel. You got all three of us in the booth tonight for the semifinals. You have us all for the finals as well. Alec, we'll start with you and the number 6 seed WCT. And me and Dan's time here in the 2 years we worked here, it's the farthest, the lowest that seed has gotten here in this playoffs. The number 6 seed, what is their key to win over Stearns Trailer tonight?
Well, they have Abdi Bashir and they have Andre Wells, so that's going to do a lot for their offense. And then they also have some of their other guys as well, Jorge Mercado and Ryan Savoy. Savoy made the huge block on Mike Amon to win the game on Thursday night over the 3rd seed Ortho, New Jersey, to seal that upset. So a lot of Bashir and a lot of Wells on offense is going to be the key. And their wing depth, I think, is going to be the X factor for if they can pull another upset and make a miracle run to the finals, because Stearns Trailer has a lot of good wings, but so does WCT, so they're going to have a shot tonight if they play up to their game like they did on Thursday. And I think Abdi Bashir and Andre Wells are going to be the key on offense.
So you talk about wing depth. This team, as we know, Ryan Savoy, one of the best defenders in the entire league. But with Stearns Trailer, you have Diggy Coit, who's probably, next to Justin Robinson, the best perimeter threat in this league. But then they also have guys like Parker Dortch and then the Twin Towers as well. What do you do with Savoy? Who do you put him on?
I think you got to put him on Dortch just because they are both that type of athlete, high flyers who can really work in the rebounding game and go up and get it. I think that's going to be the best matchup. I do think Dortch is going to have an advantage in terms of strength near the rim, but I think Savoy just gives you that defensive edge that can kind of put him in check and then leave guys like Diggy Coit for Andre Wells, because they're both really quick guards as well. So I think that's a good matchup for Josh Peters to try to use.
Absolutely. So, Dan, we'll go to you. Stearns Trailer, obviously undefeated last year, went all the way. Were trailing except for the last 30 seconds of the game, and then they came back to win it in the championship last year. This year, completely different roster. Not a lot of those pieces. Miles Kale gone. Shavar Reynolds gone. Durkak gone for most of the year as well. But they find themselves here in the semifinals again, and as the 2 seed, what is their keys to victory tonight?
I mean, if you look at Stearns Trailer, and you mentioned no Shavar Reynolds, no Miles Carroll, those are their 2 leading scorers, and of course no Jakari Spence, who had the big game-saving block against George Pappas of Ortho, New Jersey. This WCT team took down Ortho, New Jersey, a team that's given Stearns trouble in the past. And for Stearns, it's really going to be relying on your big guns. No Kevin Mateo tonight is a huge loss for them. He got thrown out of the game the other night. If they win tonight, that he will be back tomorrow. But I think the key to tonight is if Larry Smith is in uniform, which it looks like he is, putting him on Andre Wells, because he's a guy that has been able to shut down guys like Justin Robinson in the past. He's the pesky defender that Stearns needs to counteract the great driving ability of Andre Wells. And then Diggy Coit. What else can you say about him? He has the JSBL scoring title this year, and he's been such a threat for them, and he's going to continue to be a threat tonight. It's going to be a great game, and I think these 2 teams are as evenly matched at this point tonight in this gym as any 2 teams in the league right now.
But the problem with putting Smith on Wells, who do you put on Bashir? I mean, Smith is probably around the same size, because would you put Coit on him then? Coit is way too small to guard a guy like Bashir.
Well, then you have the opportunity to put Larry on your best scorer. Bashir is their best scorer, but if you could double Bashir and then have Larry play one-on-one on Wells, which I think that's a good strategy for Stearns to do, because Bashir can shoot it from anywhere. It doesn't matter if he's got a great defender like Larry Smith on him, but they were doubling him the other night at Ortho, New Jersey, and it seemed to be a successful play by head coach John Kaminsky.
Seems like we've got a great matchup on tap. The number 6 seed WCT Warriors look to upset number 2 seed Stearns Trailer for a spot in the finals when we come back. We are back. David Smith, Alec Crowdhamel, and Dan Yuzerski bringing you the action. It's JSBL playoff time. The number 6 seed WCT looks to continue their Cinderella run, looking to upset the number 2 seed and reigning champions, Stearns Trailer. We talked about it before in our pregame show. Both teams have a path to victory. Alec, going back to you, we talked about WCT. There's a lot of things that they have to do, but it's definitely a realistic possibility, especially given they have all hands on deck tonight.
Absolutely, and I think the key, once again, is going to be three-point shooting as well, because their three-point shooting was the key to getting ahead against Ortho New Jersey and keeping pace against Ortho as well. They shot a ridiculous pace from three-point land, especially in that first half. So I think if they can continue to shoot at a high clip, they really have a chance here. But if they struggle, it's going to be really hard to keep up against a Stearns team that has a lot of talent in their own right.
One thing I want to point out, Alec, before you go in, David, the front court advantage is clearly shifted in WCT's favor tonight.
Which is something that Stearns is not really used to, so it'll be interesting. Bashir will attempt the three, no good off back iron, rebounded by Larry Smith. Gets it to Gaffney. Gaffney drives with the left. A lot of contact. He'll go to the line for a pair.
Something I want to point out about Abdi Bashir the other night, he basically didn't play the entire second and almost third quarters because he sat in foul trouble. If he gets himself into foul trouble early tonight, it'll be interesting to see how WC responds, because they did respond well the other night.
As we know, the Achilles heel for Bashir is his defense. If he's going to take that giant leap this year at Monmouth, like we know he can because he is a prolific scorer, he's going to have to get it done on that end of the floor. Gaffney knocks down both free throws as Stearns takes the early lead. It's Wells bringing it up.
Interesting that Coit is on Wells.
Rebounded by Gaffney. Gaffney, bounce pass into Dortch, blocked by Amegwu.
I think that was actually Savoy who got a piece of it.
Selby lays it in for two. Bashir, but they'll call a kick on Gaffney, and it's side out now for WCT. Don't think that's who they want handling the ball. Think they want the ball in Wells' hands, and Bashir's more of a spot-up shooter. Wells, pick and pop. Amegwu from distance gets it to go. Ian Amegwu opens up the scoring for WCT as we have a one-point game.
Yeah, Amegwu in his last game here for WCT really showed out as a prolific pick-and-pop guy, and he's getting started already.
And that's a big sign right there, as Larry Smith being aggressive and taking the ball to the basket. That's huge for Stearns.
As we know, Larry Smith is a guy that can really do it all. That ultimate glue guy that everybody wants on their team and plays very hard as he converts the three-point play there. Wells. Mercado. Three, no good. Short, long rebound to Wells. Wells lays it up with the right, can't get it to go. Rebounded by Parker Dortch. Dortch, one man to beat, and beats him to the rack. Parker Dortch lays it in for two, and it's Stearns Trailer 9-3 early.
Talk about a nightmare 90 seconds for WCT. Stearns doing exactly what they want to early.
Savoy misses it off the back iron. WCT can definitely get a better shot than that. Dortch will pull up from three, and he gets it to go. 9-point lead for the blue and white.
That's not usually Parker Dortch's best shot. He's got a bit of an awkward release from the top of the three-point range, but that's a open shot in transition, and he's going to make that one.
Mercado from deep, he gets it to go. Much needed, as that'll stop the bleeding. Like you said, a pretty awkward release from Dortch, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is the old saying. He will try, or excuse me, pump fakes. He'll get to the rim, lays it in, gets it to go. Parker Dortch with 8 early so far for Stearns. Savoy stops at the elbow, finds Mercado. He'll try another three. That one rims out, rebounded by Larry Smith. He'll pull up at the elbow, short off the rim. Rebound goes to Savoy.
Stearns has 14 points, and Diggy Quint hasn't even touched the basketball yet.
Three by Amegwu, no good. Rebound by Dortch, and they're He goes just as you say it, the announcer's jinx, as we like to talk about. Coit, step back, finds Jalen Gaffney in the corner. Bashir defending, blows by him, baseline, can't lay it up and in with the right. Savoy lays it for Mercado. Mercado loses the handle. Gaffney to the rim, kicks it for Coit. Great pass by Gaffney, but Coit can't convert, but he'll get another chance. No good, rebounded by Mercado.
WCT lucky there.
Yeah, Coit, one of the best perimeter shooters in this league. And the other one knocks it down, and he'll have a chance for a 4-point play. That's where he is so dangerous.
Yeah, great job by Abdi Bashir just getting the advantage look in transition. Got Dortch a bit on his heels, forced the late contest. Dortch had to kind of lunge at him, and he drew the contact, drained the shot as well, and now has an opportunity for a 4-point play.
He converts it. I feel like we've seen quite a few 4-point plays this year. One of the rarest plays in basketball, and we've been fortunate enough to see it. Coit, finger roll, gets it to go. Blows right by Savoy. That's why he's so difficult to guard. You are too tight up on him, he'll blow by you. If you give him enough space, he'll knock down the three. Bashir loses the handle. He's trapped in the corner by Dortch, leaves it for Wells. A Megwu jump hook, rims out. Rebound to Anthony Selby. And that one will go back to Stearns.
Interesting early look for Stearns' defense. They're having Parker Dortch check up on the perimeter on Abdi Bashir, and then you got Larry Smith on Andre Wells. So trying to mix up the looks on the perimeter.
Step back three, Coit, no good, long. Rebounded by Jalen Gaffney. And a sweet entry pass in from Dortch to Selby as Selby finishes for two. That front court, like you talked about, Dan, that you thought WCT was going to have the edge, it's looking like Stearns is holding their own as Selby and Dortch have both been terrific to start.
It looks like, as you mentioned, that WCT looks a little phased right now. They don't look like they're settled in. Looks a little discombobulated. I'm interested to see what they look like after this TV timeout that's upcoming.
Smith has the much smaller Wells defending, and that one gets jammed in the rim in the backboard for a jump ball.
I gotta say, you see it a lot on jump shots, but not very often you see a wedgie on a layup attempt.
Yeah, that's very rare to say the least. We've already seen a 4-point play and a layup jammed into the rim and backboard, and it's not even the first TV timeout yet.
It's been the year of that, the 4-point play and the wedgies.
That finish no good by Gaffney, and that's where Larry Smith is so good. It seems to not be a 50-50 ball with him, more like a 70-30 ball, as he always comes up with it and drew the contact there, as he'll have a chance at the line.
Absolutely.
Interesting, Quinn Peters, the first guy off the bench that Josh Peters is going to want to go to for WCT. Not Scott Gemesi, who was our player of the game.
Well, Peters definitely a very similar player to Mercado, both stretch 3-4s, hybrids, similar body type, and can shoot the rock. Think we'll see Gemesi come in for a Megwu when he needs a break, and probably Pettit for Bashir when he needs a break. Bashir will take the three, and he gets it to go.
I mean, that's just unbelievable. The limitless range of Bashir. It's impossible to play defense on him behind the arc.
This is the perfect type of league for a player like Bashir, as we know he can put up points in bunches, and there's not too much defense. It's a 10-point game early.
Speaking of points, David Coit says.
Wells will get to the free throw line. And there's a shove early from Dortch on Savoy. We've seen some ejections. Referees not shy to throw technicals in these playoffs. These games have gotten heated. That will take us to our first TV timeout. When we come back, we will have free throws for WCT. Don't go anywhere. We'll have the rest of the action here on the JSBL YouTube. Welcome back here, David Smith, Dan Yuzerski, and Alec Crowdhamel. You guys are lucky enough to have all of us tonight.
Indeed. One thing I want to point out, and thanks for bringing us back, David, is that Stearns had this problem with Larson the other night where they played each other, and Stearns was very chippy. It led to multiple ejections on both sides, one for Nate Pierre-Louis, and then Kevin Mateo, who is not playing tonight. It feels like Stearns is being chippy with WCT again, and before that TV timeout, you saw some pushing going on.
I think it was smart by the officials to, don't give any text because it's that playoff intensity and atmosphere. Just send them back to their benches to try to defuse things.
It was perfect timing to have a media timeout for both of the teams.
Coit, Savoy defending. It's a matchup we thought we could have saw. Was Savoy being one of the league's premier defenders. Mason Jones blows by Peters, lays it off for Selby. What a feed from Mason Jones.
What a pass there. Just dumps it down at the perfect time, got his man in the air, and that's an easy layup using the leverage.
Bashir 3, no good. That one hits off the hands of Dortch into the hands of Savoy, who leaves it for Emegwu, who knocks down the triple. And if Ian Emegwu is knocking down triples at a consistent rate, it's going to give WCT a good chance to stay in this game.
What a play by Abdi Bashir to get that rebound, by the way.
Bashir, step back, triple, gets it to go. Abdi Bashir, 3 triples in this first quarter.
He's feeling it early.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. Just going to that dribble crossover into the pull-up game. It looks so smooth for him, and it's been cashed a lot.
Dortch finds a cutting Selby. He gets it back on the low block. Jump hook, no good. Rebound goes to Bashir. Bashir looking to push. He's got numbers. Steps back, resets. He'll try the deep triple, can't get it to go. Rebound goes to Mason Jones.
It's amazing what he can do on the offensive end of the floor, even though he didn't get that one to go. Just how he basically took on the entire team and almost got one to go.
Emegwu will throw that one out of bounds, but it's at times, too, it can also shoot yourself in the foot as well, because we know that's not the greatest shot selection, but it's one of those situations where, like, no, 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 yes, because he can knock down those shots in those situations.
I'm going to go with football here because it's coming up. He's kind of like Patrick Mahomes. No, Josh Allen. I'd say he's more like Josh Allen. Lightning rod on the offensive end of the floor.
Sweet drive to the rim by Gaffney. He'll draw the contact, gets the bump, and he'll go to the line for a pair.
A really nice job just using his strength to get into the middle of the lane. Draws the contact, and then the body control to, even when he had almost his entire back turned to the rim, just flipped it up to give him a chance at the shot.
So what do you guys think? Bashir, who would you guys give Bashir an NFL comparison to?
NFL comparison?
More quarterback centralized.
I want to say maybe a Lamar Jackson, because you don't want to see your quarterback running like Lamar Jackson does because you're afraid he's going to get hurt. And then he just makes the play.
Yeah.
And you're just in absolute awe.
Well, that's why I said Josh Allen.
Bashir finds a great pass inside to Emegwu. He can't finish. Rebounded by Diggy Coit. Coit looking to push the tempo. Gets to the rim. Lays it up with the left and gets the friendly roll.
It feels like Stearns has been up so much that it feels like they should be up by more, but credit WCT, they're kind of keeping themselves in.
A sweet scoop layup there from Ryan Pettit as he gets his first points of the game. And like we talked about, he could be an X factor for this WCT team.
Oh, a little bit
Savoy
too far.
airmails him there. Excuse me, Dan.
Like I said, it still doesn't look like WCT's found a comfortable 5 that they have right now. I think this is going to be a big piece. Scott Messi checking in for the first time tonight. I'm interested to see what his imprint, what he can put on this game, like what fingerprints he can put.
Jamesi, one of the energizers on this WCT team, especially defensively, runs the floor very well, does a really good job of rebounding. And what a great move there by Anthony Lee.
I mean, that's great defense, too.
And there's Pettit, like we talked about. That sweet southpaw stroke.
5 quick points for the lefty. He's looking like he's going to have his fingerprints all over tonight's game.
Gaffney backing down Pettit. Pettit tried to pull the chair to no avail.
Yeah, and he recognized that he had the size advantage and a good opportunity to pull the chair, like you said, but that time Gaffney had the good balance and body control and just made it an easy layup under the rim.
WCT is going to bring in guys for more offense. They're going to sacrifice with their defense like they just did on that possession.
Good take to the hoop there by Bashir. Couldn't finish. Andre Wells checking back into the game. A short stint for Scott Jamesi.
And one thing we haven't talked about for Jamesi yet, this is a revenge game for him. He started the season on Stern's roster. Now he's on WCT. We'll see if he can help try and will his team to an upset.
Great feed from Bashir into Wells as Wells finishes for 2 as we're just north of a minute left here in this first quarter.
That's the first time Stearns came with the double on Bashir. Great job being able to find the open man for the layup.
Great putback there from Larry Smith. Coit might have gotten away with a push-off. Pettit did a good job to sell it, but didn't get the call. Wells leaves it. Pettit from beyond the arc gets it to go. Ryan Pettit with 8 quick points off the bench for WCT as he cuts the lead to 6.
And Stearns looked a little disorganized on defense in that possession. Left Pettit open on the perimeter, still trying to find their matchups.
The Lafayette Leopard playing really well so far for WCT is Coit. Strong finish there. One thing we've talked about with Coit, he's still in the portal as Bashir lays it in for 2. Whatever team gets the services of Diggy Coit, he's heard from A&M, Arkansas, just to name a few. Villanova, I believe, as well. They are getting one heck of a player.
Absolutely. He's just instant offense, the electricity that he provides, and that's a bit of a silly foul from Bashir, really reaching for no reason, and now Stearns in the bonus. Chance to add on to this lead. That's one of the problems with Bashir on defense, just the unnecessary play there. I get he was trying to make something happen and trying to make up for, some of his deficiencies on the perimeter side, but, you can't make those plays, especially when your team needs to make a comeback.
I don't think it, but at that point, I think it's a little bit of a preposterous foul call, as I'll be the first one to use the word of the night, or at least game 1, but I don't know. I don't know how, if you're Bashir, you're just kind of reaching in there. I don't know if that was really necessarily a noticeable foul.
But at the same time, you got to know the situation,
yes,
and that the next one puts you in the bonus, so you can't even flirt with it. Bashir gets the screen. Step back, triple, gets it to go! Abdi Bashir cuts the lead to 5, and we have a 40-35 game here in Manasquan. We're going to have a good one, folks.
I tell you what, WCT's lucky to be down 5 because it feels like they're down a lot more right now, but to be down 5 going into the second, you have them right where you want them.
That's kind of just how they've played so far in this playoffs as well, just being able to will their way back into this game by any means necessary. We'll see if Stearns can start to pull away a little bit more or if WCT can take the lead.
We will take a short break as both teams get some quick rest as they will go to the second quarter looking to get a trip to the final. We are back. David Smith, Dan Yuzerski, and Alec Krauthamel here for you. And Dan, if you look at the box score that we just got, for WCT, it's been 2 guys. It's been Abdi Bashir and Ryan Pettit, 2 guys that can absolutely light it up from beyond the arc. And for Stearns, we're seeing a much more balanced approach.
Well, you just saw Larry Smith who hit the 3. He's been an absolute problem for WCT tonight in terms of he's the game leader in rebounds after a quarter. He now has 10 points after that made 3. He's a guy that has championship winning experience and is making the championship play so far.
And we just said his name. Ryan Pettit knocks down the triple, the southpaw shooter.
With him and Bashir on the floor right now, they're dangerous from any spot beyond the arc.
Great job of pulling the chair there by Wells as he gets the stop. Savoy pushing the pace. Pettit finds the cutting Bashir. He can't finish from in close. And that one's rebounded by Dortch. Dortch drives to the rim and he lays it in for 2.
That's a tough finish for Abdi Bashir, but I think that's one that he'd like to have back.
Mercado drives, floats one up, and he gets the friendly bounce. Jorge Mercado, he's now got 5. And they'll call a bump there on Wells as he got Diggy Coit. He hit the floor.
And Wells, a very quick guard in his own right, but with Coit going downhill, he's got that electric crossover move. He's lightning quick with the ball in his hands. He can get by really anybody on the perimeter. So that really puts a lot of pressure on the defense to move over when he gets going towards the rim and close out.
Wells and Coit both with a very similar burst, both very quick laterally, and can excel very well. When they get moving, they get moving. But both play pretty differently, honestly. Coit more of a guy who likes to shoot off the dribble from beyond the arc. Wells more of a playmaking slasher. Coit will drive to the rim there. Can't finish with the right. Put back, no good. Third time's the charm for Anthony Selby.
I tell you what, WCT's been discombobulated on the boards tonight.
A Megwu triple, no good. Wells fighting for it down there. It ends up in Larry Smith's hands. He leaves it for Gaffney. Gaffney to Selby. Or excuse me, that's Dortch. Dortch lays it in for 2.
He's such a strong finisher around the lane because he can jump so high in the air as well. Just flies high above the rim, and that's an easy finish.
Bashir turns that one over. Saves it for Coit. Coit to Gaffney. Gaffney, the sweet spin, up and under. Larry Smith finishes for 2. What a sequence for Stearns, and Josh Peters has seen enough. He calls a timeout.
Like you said on the last possession, Dan, discombobulated on defense. It looked like WCT was scrambling to find the matchups. They just couldn't get on one guy, and they left Smith wide open. The sweet spin and dish from Gaffney led it to the layup, and now it's a double-digit lead for Stearns.
I think Stearns has done a great job of throwing unpredictable offensive sets at them tonight. Ortho's offense is very good, but I think one of the reasons WCT was able to have success against them on the defensive end of the floor was because of how predictable Ortho New Jersey's offense is. You know it's going to be either Mensa or Amon down low, and then they're either going to play inside-out basketball, and they were to kick out for a 3 per Pappas. But Stearns can do everything on every different level, and they move a lot more than Ortho New Jersey does, and it's causing tons of fits for WCT on the defensive end of the floor right now.
And I think a reason why Stearns is so dangerous, not only do the 5 got their core 5, Gaffney, Coit, Dortch, Selby, and Smith, all 5 of them don't really have an aspect of their game where it's a liability. All 5 of them are really well-rounded players and can do everything at a pretty high clip.
And not even that, they're doing this all without Kevin Mateo as well.
Mateo can definitely light it up. Bashir tries to finish with the right, can't get it to go. Rebound goes to Selby. It's Gaffney. He leaves it for Coit. Coit from triple. Can't get it to go. And the putback for Anthony Selby.
I think that was actually Larry Smith, but, I mean, WCT has nothing on the offensive boards right now. I mean, there's another play where Larry Smith is just able to get an easy rebound.
Here's Wells. Starting to become danger time here. Going to need a little bit of a run. Wells, feed into Emegwu, and he'll go to the line. Great entry pass from Andre Wells.
Sorry to cut you off, Alec. With the struggles they had, I think this is a good move to get Scott Messi back into this game because Larry Smith is absolutely dominating the offensive end of the floor and on the boards right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is a good time to slow down the game for WCT as well. It just looks like it's moving too fast for them on both ends of the floor. They haven't been able to keep up on the defensive end, and on offense they're just kind of forcing things a little bit. So getting a second to slow things down, like you said, Dan, get guys like Jamesi into the game is going to be big to try to really get themselves back into this game because like you said, Dave, we're starting to enter the danger zone a little bit.
It feels like WCT kind of sacrificed some of their good defensive players for offense, and it's hurt them a little bit.
Stearns is a great offensive team, as we see there. Coit blows by Savoy for 2. Coit, one of the toughest guards in this entire league, as they'll call a foul there. Believe they'll get Smith. That's his first, team second. Jamesi will check back in. Amegwu will take a break. 16-point lead here for Stearns. And that one's tipped out of bounds. Bashir has been a little lackadaisical with some of his passes. Some of them have been real ill-advised, which have led to turnovers.
Kind of feels like the whole team, and there's another one where they just turn it over.
Coit's going to call for the ISO, but Dortch will will shoot the 3. That one will go out of bounds.
It also feels like the defensive effort and the effort in terms of on the boards for Stearns is completely different than the one that WCT is giving right now.
Bashir knocks down the triple. That's a big shot right there for WCT.
And that's a classic step-back move there. Has the defender on his hip, kind of leverages it with his body, and then just not pushes off, but uses his body to get separation, and that's an easy pull-up 3.
Poked away. Savoy. Bashir can't get it to go. Rebound goes to Wells. Wells leaves it for Savoy. Savoy, mid-range jumper, no good. Offensive rebound to Jamesi. Mercado, way off, rebounded by Larry Smith. Not a great shot there for WCT.
Yeah, but even though they didn't get a shot to go in, that was one of their better offensive possessions tonight.
Jamesi can't finish from in close off the sweet feed from Bashir. It's Diggy Coit bringing it up now for Stearns. Coit on an island with Savoy, leaves it. Dortch, Selby, top of the key. Sets a screen for Coit. Coit from 3, air ball. And that one will go down to the other side.
Oh.
But the other ref will override him. Says that ball was tipped. I thought that was an air ball. I didn't think he got a piece of that.
You would hear it noticeably if he was to have gotten a piece of it. I didn't hear anything.
I didn't notice any kind of change of spin on the ball either, so tough to say, really.
Smith, the triple, gets it to go. Larry Smith knocks down the 3, and the lead is back to 16.
I tell you, go ahead, Alec.
I think Larry Smith's been the best player in this game so far, not only with the scoring, but he's been one of the best rebounders, and as a guard, that's not easy to do, and obviously his trademark defense as well.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Actually, what I was about to say.
Savoy will get called for a push-off. That won't count, as that one will bring us to the media timeout. Stearns trailer on a huge run right now. It's starting to become danger time for WCT as Stearns looks to advance to yet another championship. Welcome back. David Smith, Dan Yuzerski, and Alec Crowdhamel bringing you the action. Stearns trailer all over WCT in this second quarter. Sweet move from Campbell, stripped away by Wells as it'll stay with Stearns.
I tell you what, and you never want to play the what if game, but WCT's got to figure out something here on the defensive end of the floor, because with that, I'm interested to see how Ortho would have been playing as Coit couldn't hit on that three.
Second chance here, Mason Jones. Full spin, and they'll call a jump ball. It'll be Jones. And I believe Wells. Jones and Wells appear to have a little bit of an exchange. Or excuse me, it's going to be Jones and Jamesi jumping for it. Jamesi, we know, can jump out of the gym. Should be him who wins this tip. He does. Pettit pushes the pace, finds Wells. Wells drives to the rack, finish with the right, gets it to go. Sweet finish by Andre Wells.
If they're going to get back into this game, they need him. He was so crucial in their wins this year. He needs to continue to play well.
Great move there by Dortch as he'll go to the free throw line for two. We've talked about it all night where WCT has struggled is defense. They're typically a really good defensive team, but the different part about Stearns Trailer, more so than any other team in this league, they're a team that relies on ISO ball, and they haven't been able to stop the isolation of Coit, Dortch, Mason Jones, and even Larry Smith.
Yeah, you're right. And as like Alec mentioned before, Larry Smith has probably been the best player in the gym tonight. And while he's not on the floor now, he's big. And then you have Dortch, Coit, Selby, Gaffney. I mean, there's just so many good, talented players on Stearns that makes them such a tough team to play against.
Pettit, three, top of the key, no good. Rebound, Jamesi puts it up, can't get it to go. Third time's the charm and the foul. Scott Jamesi lays it up with a chance to cut it to 12 here.
Once again, Scott Jamesi being the energizer that this WCT team needs, really gets at it on the glass, and his efforts pay off. I mean, once again, like Dan said with Andre Wells, if WCT wants to get back into this game, Scott Jamesi is going to have to make a lot of plays on both ends of the floor once again.
By the way, he was fouled twice in that possession. He was fouled on both layup attempts.
I think more so the first time.
Yeah. Maybe it was a makeup call.
Dortch, Jamesi defending, gives up the baseline, and a sweet finish on the reverse.
A huge quick first step for Dortch, just blew by Jamesi immediately, and even though Jamesi closed solidly, just was able to go up and under.
Wells answers right back at the rim for two, and the lead is back to 12. But like we talked about, Dortch was alone in that corner. It's been the isolation that they can't stop. It's not passing and cutting like the good basketball that everybody loves to watch. It's literally just 1v1, as there is another 1v1, but Dortch couldn't finish with the jump hook. It's now Wells with it. Kicks it into Savoy. Pettit jabs after the pump fake, but he loses the ball. Gaffney pushes. Coit, corner. He'll reset. It's him and Savoy. Pass tipped, but into the hands of Campbell. Campbell finds the cutting Gaffney, but that one, Gaffney could not reel in as that one goes out of bounds.
WCT finally starting to look like they're settled in on the defensive end of the floor. And it feels like those two buckets from Andre Wells where he was being able to drive in has really made a difference so far.
Bashir gets the ball back after Campbell was picking up full court on Wells. The mid-range jumper, he gets it to go.
I mean, that is great defense by Stearns, and it still doesn't matter. That's how good of a shot maker Abdi Bashir is.
And they'll catch Jones on a push-off. He can't believe it. But like we talked about with Bashir, one of the best shot makers in the entire league. Just going to have to put on some weight to compete defensively, but with his size and release, he can shoot over those smaller defenders. Finds a Megwu there. He couldn't hold on to it. Selby steals it away. Finds Campbell. It's Gaffney in the corner. Entry pass. Selby cutting. Campbell finishes with the left.
I tell you what, Ian Emegwu got caught right there trying to play the double, and he probably should have waited because he got pickpocketed, right? Not pickpocketed, but bad defensive possession there.
That's a really tough shot by Bashir. Probably not the shot WCT wanted. Gaffney leaves it for Coit, who drops it. Bashir leaves it. Savoy finishes from in close. 10-point game.
And I think the biggest key to WCT being able to close out this lead, they're slowing down some of the transition opportunities and creating some of their own, like on that possession. Good job emphasizing the 2v1.
That three good from Anthony Lee. He knocks down his second triple of the game in as many attempts.
It just feels like Stearns has just so much ability to shoot right now that even if when WCT is playing good defenses, a foul's called there, that they can't find a way to be able to stop the better offense that Stearns is putting up.
Yeah, that wasn't bad defense by any means either. Anthony Lee just decided, all right, I'm going to shoot this. I just have a sliver of space, and he made the WCT defense pay.
Amegwu back, Pettit, corner three, long off the rim, rebounded by Lee. He gets it to Coit. 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Coit, screen by Selby. Savoy defending, drives, baseline, tipped away by Pettit. It'll stay with Stearns. 40 seconds left on the game clock, 8 on the shot clock.
I think Ryan Savoy's done a really good job of checking Coit on the perimeter, staying by him, and then not allowing the drive, but kind of letting him go towards the baseline and trap himself into a corner.
Campbell, sweet step back Jay. That's his spot, mid-range.
I mean, they're getting offense from everyone. It's just impossible for WCT to stop the way that Stearns is shooting right now.
Bashir drives to the rim, can't get it to go. Stearns with the rebound, and they can hold for one.
Very UConn-esque performance so far in this first half from Stearns Trailer.
Savoy on Coit. Coit drives to the rim, finish with the right hand. Diggy Coit lays it in to extend the lead to 17, and Amegwu won't get the shot off as Stearns closes the first half red hot, as it looked like WCT could have closed it maybe single digits. They had it at 10 at one point, but Stearns closed on a 7-0 run to make it a 17-point lead.
Yeah, final tally on that second quarter, 32-20 in favor of Stearns. Just got so much offense from so many different guys, and now Josh Peters is going to have to go into this WCT huddle and try to figure out something to do on defense, some kind of game plan to try to shut down this offense that, like you mentioned, Dave, has been a lot of ISO ball, but a lot of shot making.
We saw 35 points in the first quarter from WCT, and like you said, only 20 in the second quarter, so Stearns really picked it up on the defensive end to shut him down.
And the reason for that, they were 2 of 8 from beyond the arc in quarter number 2, and have not been great from efficient 2-point percentage. So they got to find a way to make some more shots going into quarter number 3.
We have the box score now. Only 2 in double figures for WCT. Bashir with 20, leading all scorers. Pettit with 11, and then Wells and Amegwu with 7 apiece to lead WCT. And then for Stearns, everybody has gotten involved. Larry Smith with 17, Parker Dortch with 16, David Coit with 13, and then you have Selby and Gaffney with 8 apiece, and then 2 triples for Anthony Lee. Everyone is getting involved for Stearns, but it's not the true team ball that you see, like RKE moving the ball, cutting. Everybody gets it on the receiving end. It's literally everybody gets a share of the 1v1 and then going to work.
And that's been it's been a problem. The isolation defense for WCT has been a problem. I'm interested to see if they consider maybe going to a 2-3 zone to help combat the isolation ball that Stearns has been running.
Don't think we've ever seen a 2-3 zone in our history, or our 2-year history here. Not something that's typically ran in the Jersey Shore Basketball League, but
maybe something that could work.
When you're down by 17 for a trip to the final, you could try anything that could potentially work.
Absolutely.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, David.
And one interesting stat that we saw, like you said, Dave, the ISO ball has been heavy so far. WCT has more assists despite less field goals made. WCT has 9 assists on 20 field goals made, while Stearns Trailer has 8 assists on 28 field goals made. So everything we've been saying so far is proof in the stat sheet.
We will take a short break as both teams shooting around right now as they get ready for a second half where WCT looks to overcome a big deficit. Welcome back, David Smith, Ala Krauthamel, and the temporarily not present Dan Yezerski as he takes his routine tinkle time in the post-first half.
You really have to expose him like that.
But, Alec, we have seen a great overall first half from Stearns, just really efficient from the floor, shooting nearly 50%.
Yeah, absolutely, and everyone but Mason Jones has gotten on the scoreboard, and like you mentioned, it's been a lot of sharing the love offensively, but a lot of those guys have just been winning their one-on-one matchups. Not a ton of passing, but they just have so much talent that it's worked so far.
Sweet step back from Coit as he knocks down the mid-range jumper. And the magic number, I think, is 20. You got to keep this under 20 at all times if you want any chance. Wells kicks it out for Savoy. Not the most comfortable three-point shooter. Can't knock it down there. And it's Gaffney bringing it up for Stearns. Post hook, Selby, no good, rebounded by Mercado. Leaves it for Bashir. Bashir into Savoy, ill-advised pass. But Dortch was able to save it. Smith bringing it up now for Stearns. He drives, pump fakes, leaves it for Dortch. Dortch, the triple! Can't get it to go, rebounded by Mercado. It's Wells now. Leaves it Mercado. He finds Bashir. Bashir posting up, shoots it. It doesn't get more difficult than that. It doesn't get better defense than that. That's just Abdi Bashir.
I mean, if you ask Patrick Ewing, he'd say, do you practice that shot? I think Abdi Bashir practices that shot.
Dortch slams it down with authority as he extends the lead back to 19. Amegwu tries the triple, gets it to go, his third of the game. They're going to need a lot more than that, but that's a good step in the right direction.
Absolutely. And Megwu has been a fantastic pick-and-pop guy, like we said earlier, and it's continuing there as Dortch is just dominating on the inside, even celebrates with the too small.
The problem hasn't been on the offensive side. It's been defensively. Mercado tries the triple. Ill-advised shot there. Rebound goes to Stearns.
I mean, I think that kind of shows the inexperience of WCT as that Mercado shot is taking a turnover there, but early shots, not deep into the shot clock with no one down low to get a rebound on a miss.
Wells gets the screen, drives, finish with the right, and he gets fouled by Dortch.
And that's kind of something that they need to be doing more. You can't beat Stearns by continuously shooting threes outside. Wells needs to be a guy that can go to the rim with regularity, and he's starting to do it a little bit. He started doing it later in the second quarter, and he's going to start to do it now in the third.
And pretty interesting on the sideline, Dan, I don't know if you remember, we see Chima Ekekubar on the sideline. He was one of WCT's best players last year. Hasn't been able to play this year because of an ankle injury.
Yeah, and Chima was really good for WCT last year and took on the role of their main scorer. And there were games where he would really light it up, as well as another free throw. That's crucial. But Chima's one of the good players to play in the JSBL.
He was a first-team All-League selection 2 years ago. Scored over 2,000 points at Baruch College. Dortch doubled. Was able to kick it out to Selby. Gets it to Coit. Shot clock winding down. Coit, step back, triple, no good. But the offensive rebound to Smith leaves it for Dortch as he lays it in for two.
I mean, what else can you do if you're WCT? I mean, it just feels like Stearns is everywhere.
Good feed from Savoy into Mercado as Mercado lays it in for two.
And like you mentioned, not a lot of assists, but a lot of what those assists have come from as Coit draws the foul. A lot of that ball movement that's led to success is driving and finding a cutter near the rim just to give a little bounce pass and get an easy layup. That's been a lot of their ball movement so far, and it's working pretty well.
Lee checks back into the game. He'll give Dortch a short breather. Pettit coming back into the game at the next whistle for WCT.
With Dortch being off the court, this is a big spot for WCT.
Smith had the mismatch with the Meglu defending. Opted for the triple, but that one went out of bounds. A rare miss from Larry Smith tonight as he came into the quarter shooting 6 for 9.
I'm shocked Scott Jamesti hasn't played as much as he has. He was the best player on that court in that third quarter against Northern New Jersey, and he really hasn't given them much tonight.
Bashir drives. Tough finish with the left. Couldn't get it to go. Lee leaves it. Smith, triple. Gaffney gets it to go. Jalen Gaffney knocks down the triple, and the lead is the biggest of the game, 21.
And those two possessions absolutely put a microscope on what the offense has been for both teams tonight. Abdi Bashir had Andre Wells wide open in the corner and chose to go up with the left for the layup. And then you have Stearns making the extra pass to Gaffney, and he lays it in on he hits it on an open shot.
Good feed from Gaffney to Larry Smith. And that's what Larry Smith is so good at. Really knows the game. Is always in the right place at the right time. Pettit, sweet feed to Savoy. Jump hook gets it to go.
It's a really nice look off the dribble for Pettit. We haven't seen a ton of Savoy on the offensive end tonight. He's done a very good job on defense, but see if they can find him in space on offense more often.
Good take to the rim by Anthony Lee. Got hit on the forearm by Ryan Pettit as he'll go to the line for two.
And now Jamesi gets ready to check back in. I don't know how much I would sit him the rest of the game. He could be a big impact guy off the bench right now.
Well, they need stops defensively, and Jamesi is one of their better defenders. Honestly, even though you're down 20 points right now, I think you got to go with your best defensive lineup because what's going on right now? I mean, plus Bashir. You obviously need Bashir in the game.
Maybe even Pettit.
But they can't get any stops on defense. So you gotta at least have 4 very capable defenders in if you're going to have Bashir in as well. Wells drives, finishes with the left as he falls hard into the bleachers, but appears to be okay.
I mean, what else can you do? I mean, Andre Wells, when he gets down the lane with steam, he's tough to stop.
Gaffney, step back, fires, can't finish. Bashir, sweet bounce pass, but tipped by Lee as it's going the other way. Coit with it now, Wells defending. Coit, what a finish. Looked like Jelly Fam right there as he spun it in for 2 from in close. Good feed from Pettit to Savoy as Savoy lays it in for 2.
You've seen the good and the bad of Abdi Bashir on the floor tonight. I mean, Abdi, a tremendous shooter and a great offensive player, but at times hasn't made the right pass and right play and has struggled defensively.
Coit lost the handle there. It's going down to WCT, and that'll take us to the media. It's been an even third quarter so far. We went into it with a 19-point deficit for WCT. It's still 19 as it's back and forth, but they still got a lot of work to do if they want to come back. We are back. David Smith, Dan Yuzerski, and Alec Crowdhamel bringing you the action. It's a 19-point lead for the 2-seed Stearns Trailer over the 6-seed WCT Warriors. It's Andre Wells with the ball. Good defense from Jones. Leaves it for Savoy. Back. Wells from beyond the arc. Can't get it to go. Lee comes flying in for the board. It's Coit bringing it up. Gaffney. Jamesi defending. Gaffney drives to the weak side, lays it up, but can't get the friendly bounce, but he'll go to the line for two.
I think one thing that Stearns has done really well so far with Jamesi in the game is trying to get him in those situations where he's out on the perimeter. They've done it a few times now where they just isolate him on the three-point line and then drive on him, and it's led to a lot of success so far. Jamesi's a good defender, but some of these guys are just quicker off the bounce.
I say this as Gaffney just missed a free throw, but one thing Stearns has done very well at is getting to the line and executing as he splits the pair there. But now 11 for 13 at the line as a team. And when you hit free throws, you typically win games.
So 20-point lead under 14 minutes to play in this one. It looks like Stearns is going back to their third straight finals, and we take a look at the later game tonight. You have Seaview, Jeep, and RKE. Who do you guys like in that one?
I mean, it's so tough to bet against Xander Rice and Justin Robinson, but with how well we've seen RKE play all year, they did struggle against intern helpers, who I feel like is very similar to Seaview with two stars in Chris Smith and JR, and then Xander Rice and Justin Robinson. But I think Seaview just has way too much firepower in order for RKE. I think we see the upset of the 4-seed over the 1-seed tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised either, honestly, because they have one of the best guys in modern JSBL history in Justin Robinson. Then you add Xander Rice, and you add some of these other standouts. Chris Brady's probably been a top 2 rebounder in the league so far. So
the best rebounder in the league.
Yeah,
Demir.
It doesn't feel like one of those upsets if Seaview does win, just because they have so much talent on the floor.
I think it's weird to say it's a 4 and a 1, but I feel like Seaview's kind of got to be the favorite going into tonight's game.
Well, Seaview was inconsistent with who showed up this year. That's why they lost as many games as they did. But when they have everyone in uniform, they are so dangerous. That one goes out of bounds. It'll remain on this side of the floor. Bashir to inbound. And Josh Peters will call a timeout.
Yeah, I think he just called this timeout. Once again, just got to get his guys to refocus in. I mean, it's a 21-point game right now. It's not looking good, but they just need a few plays to just go their way. You're not going to make up 21 points in a minute. You got to start to chip away, and we'll see if they can do that. I mean, Stearns has just made all the right plays so far, but we'll see if WCT can start to flip this upside down as we head into the third quarter.
Well, not even that. It feels like since the game has gotten past like 8 or 9 that WCT's been trying to make up all that lead in 1 minute, and it's kind of what's led to the lead being able to balloon for Stearns Trailer.
Definitely a very tough hole that they're going to have to dig themselves out of. What a crowd. We haven't even mentioned this either, too, that we have here at Manasquan. As you can see here, Almost every seat filled. You really love to see it.
Yeah, it's that playoff intensity. I mean, almost, if not all of the games so far in this playoffs have lived up to that playoff hype. We've had 2 buzzer beaters so far, or not buzzer beaters, but games that have gone down to the last play. I mean, this one, it's a 20-point game right now, but it's been very exciting on both ends of the floor. I definitely think these playoffs have lived up to the hype.
Bashir, Gene Campbell defending. Pulls up from the free throw line, can't get it to go. Rebounded by Lee. He leaves it for Coit. Diggy Coit. Step back, triple, no good. Rebounded by Savoy. Savoy, coast to coast, leaves it for Wells. Wells, the reverse, lays it in.
Andre Wells has really come along in the second and third quarter, and he's one of the reasons that this lead hasn't been even bigger for Stearns.
That one no good by Lee. A rare miss from him from beyond the arc tonight.
It's another stop for WCT. Let's see what they do.
And Wells with the runner gets it to go. Andre Wells is just so crafty when he gets to the rim.
He is, and on that one, even got kind of caught in a tough spot, but just rose up with the floater. Not an easy look. That's a bit of an underrated tough shot and got it to fall.
And Diggy Coit gets downhill as he lays it in plus the foul. And that's just an absolute backbreaker right there if you're WCT.
Yeah, absolutely. Just giving up the three-point play to Coit, who once again just working off the dribble. I mean, you've gotten a couple of string of stops here, gotten it under 20, and then to let that up, I mean, that's a tough break. But now they got to go back down on offense, get some points on the board, and now try to get those stops once again.
Coit couldn't get the free throw to fall. Bashir with it now. Finish with the left hand, gets it to go. And Bashir shot that over Parker Dortch, who is a forward who played Division I at Loyola Marymount. He's doing that as primarily a guard for Monmouth. I mean, he's just so dangerous and can beat you in so many ways.
And I was impressed with a lot of his game, especially in their non-conference schedule last year. And once they got into conference play, like people got tape on Bashir, it was a little bit tougher for him. But he's still such an explosive scorer that can go off at any minute.
Coit, step back, triple, pure. Diggy Coit knocks it down from beyond the arc.
I mean, speaking of someone that could go off at any minute, Diggy Coit has had a great night tonight. As per usual, the JSBL scoring leader doing it again.
Bashir blocked by Dortch. Pettit from way beyond the arc. Nothing but net for Ryan Pettit. 1 minute left here in this third quarter. Mason Jones. It's Jones and Pettit. Jones, fadeaway, can't get it to go. Bashir finds Savoy. Savoy the slam!
If you're WCT, you got it at 15.
15 is doable, as we know. Weirder things have happened. Another stop here would be huge. It's Coit. Stolen away by Pettit. Wells leaves it for Pettit. Fast break. Lays it in for 2. We have a 13-point game after the 7-0 run. And Stearns Trailer will take a timeout.
And like I said in the last time, I just got to keep chipping away at that lead, making the right hustle plays on defense and getting good looks on offense. That's exactly what WCT has done. And now we're back to a 13-point game. I mean, you can't get out this WCT team. It looked like they were out of it in the third quarter last time out against Ortho as well, and then Scott Jamesi went on that big run. Pettit has kind of been that same spark plug taking Jamesi's spot. He's been more so effective from the three-point line, but, I mean, we have got a game here.
And not only that, you can't count them out just because of the shooting that they have with Bashir, Pettit, who was just aforementioned, Mercado. I mean, it feels like everyone on WCT can shoot the three ball and shoot it well. And when you have guys like that, no lead is safe.
And I feel as if that was a great timeout call by Coach Christine Hatfield, because the difference of, say, 15 or 16 is a lot different than 13 or less. So a big possession here for Stearns as they have the ability to hold for 1. You'd love a basket here, as it's going to be very difficult to come back from 15 or more in 1 quarter.
Speaking of Coach Hatfield, if she was able to win this game, she'd be the first woman to ever coach in a JSBL championship game.
Well, she's the first head coach ever in the JSBL on its own. So the accolades just keep on rising for Coach Hadfield. That one blocked. WCT will have a chance to heave. It's Pettit, but it can't get it to go. 13-point game as WCT got the stop they needed. When we come back, we'll have the fourth quarter. We are back. WCT with possession. They trail by 13 as this is their last chance to come back for a spot in the JSPL championship. That one hits off the head of Larry Smith. It'll be 10 on the shot clock. Bashir on Smith. Whole fire from beyond the arc. Can't get it to go. Long rebound. Pettit. Fresh 14. Floater. No good. Rebounded by Wells. Pettit finds the cutting Savoy, and he lays it in for two. Great job by WCT to fight in order to make sure they got some points on that possession.
That's a great offensive possession. Being able to control multiple offensive rebounds is huge.
Coit draws the contact. They'll get Savoy on the foul. He'll go to the line for a pair.
I didn't see much contact there, Alec. I don't know if you saw a lot, but
It looked like he got more of the body as Coit went out, but it was a late whistle, too. So I'll give Savoy that for being a bit frustrated with the call. It was a late whistle, but it looked like just got a little bit too much contact with the body, kind of falling on him and losing verticality. And when you lose verticality like that, you're usually going to get the call against you.
Stearns has scored progressively less points every quarter. It's been 40, 32, and 25. I think 25 is a good number for WCT if they want to come back. But that would mean they don't have to score at least 38 points. Savoy gets one there, and now it's 11.
yeah, I mean, for WCT to be down by 20 and to now be down by 11, give them some credit. They don't go away very easily.
Coit, Wells defending. Leaves it for Gaffney on the wing, who dumps it down to Dortch. They have Savoy on him. Good feed in to Selby, and they'll get Pettit on the foul. Looked like Savoy blocked it clean off the backboard, but I think Pettit might have held him down a little bit, and that was the reason why Savoy was able to pound that off the glass.
And these are some tough calls, too, because WCT's been playing really solid defense for a lot of the possession, but it's those late in the shot clock opportunities at the rim that have been getting them for some early fouls so far as Selby misses that first free throw. Selby's been a good guy so far. We haven't mentioned him too much. He's been one of those underrated guys, just a really solid big who can post up on the low block well.
Goes an even 50% at the line. It's a 12-point game here in Manasquan. Wells leaves it for Mercado. Tough shot by Mercado. Rebounded by Coit. That's not the shot you want.
No, it's really not. That's just not a great shot. Falling away, fade away there, and just early in the shot clock, too. That's not the way you want to get into the flow of your offense, especially when you're trying to chop back into a game like this.
I think Mercado's been hunting his shot a little bit tonight. That one goes out of bounds. Amegwu coming back into the game. He'll replace Mercado. And I think that this is the 5 that you want on the court, maybe with the exception of Jamesi.
Yeah.
But this is a good 5 for WCT right now to come back into this game.
I'll tell you what, I went back and watched the tape on that Pettit foul, by the way, and another kind of blatantly bad call. It's a very soft whistle right now.
Well, something to monitor. That's 3 fouls on WCT already with only 2 minutes into this fourth quarter. So 2 more fouls, and Stearns is shooting the rest of the way.
And that makes it really difficult to cut into a lead when every single time you commit a foul, you're giving your opponent 2 more points or an opportunity for 2 at the line. So, I mean, it looks like we've seen this in some of the other playoff games so far where it looks like the whistle's just kind of tightening up just a little bit as we're getting into the playoffs action.
I mean, and the thing is, it's not a big deal if it's tightened up in the first quarter, but when it's a little bit looser and then you start to see it tighten up as the game goes on, I think that's where people draw exception to the rule.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to whistle, if you're going to lean a certain way in terms of how tight or loose you call the whistle, you have to emphasize that from the beginning and keep it consistent. That's, I think, where many people get upset, especially, my own experience watching the Big Ten. A lot of the Big Ten officials, they kind of change at halftime. They lean either more physical or less physical in how they want to call the game. So it's tough when you see that happen because you just want the game called the same way the whole game so guys can adjust and play that way. Is one thing that we haven't talked about so far either. Not a great fourth quarter from the free throw line for Stearns. I mean, they're leaving points on the floor, and WCT has to take advantage.
Amegwu from beyond the arc. He's red hot. Amegwu.
That is an absolute huge shot. The lead is 10, 7:40 to go. Let's see what WCT can continue to do.
Amegwu 4 for 6 from beyond the arc. He's provided a huge boost for the Warriors. Step back, Midri. David Coit gets it to go. Just such an electric player. Wells drives in, sweet pump fake, kicks it out. Number 5 for Amegwu, you bet.
Man, Amegwu's been just open off the catch all game long on the perimeter. It seems like Stearns has just kind of lost him, whether it's spotting up on the kick out or in the pick and pop game, and they're going to have to keep emphasizing that if they want some instant offense.
Dortch lost the handle, gets it back, no whistle. Another stop for WCT. Pettit up to Savoy. Savoy can't finish. Would have been a huge bucket to cut the lead to 7. Now Coit, step back 3, no good. And there's a foul called on the floor. They'll get Savoy.
It looks like they're actually going to get Pettit on it.
Yeah.
It looked like a wraparound under the rim, and that's another huge call because an away from the ball foul like that, not only on a miss, they would have gotten the ball back off the rebound, but now 1 foul away from the bonus as well. As looks like we'll see Mike Goodall. Goodall, I don't believe has played.
650 he's played so
so
far.
He has played, but not much on the scoreboard for him. And if, once again, a guy who can provide instant offense on the spot up, Mike Goodall's your guy.
Goodall not as quick and crafty as Wells, but Wells needs a break. And like you said, Goodall definitely a good shooter. Drops him, finishes with the left.
Wow.
Jalen Gaffney.
I mean, that is soul-taking right there from Jalen Gaffney.
Bashir, and the foul. Abdi Bashir answers right back as it's now 9 with the opportunity for 8.
Finally, it feels like a call for WCT that it goes their way. And as an announcer, you don't want to lean one way or the other. But, I mean, when you see, and I checked the tape on the last call that was made, there's been some questionable foul calls on both sides tonight. Let's see how the officials continue to ref as we go down the stretch.
Gets it to go, and Coach Hadfield's going to call a timeout.
I mean, for Stearns to be up 20 and for this game to be at 8 says a lot about the makeup of what WCT does and how you talk about how we've talked about how they're never out of any game because, 1, they can shoot the lights out of the ball, and 2, they can play really good team defense at times, and both of that has happened down the stretch here.
Yeah, absolutely. They've just been able to get the stats that they needed, and a lot of it is in the turnover game as well. They've been able to get into the passing lanes namely Savoy, has been great at that so far in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to come down to the offensive game on the opposite side of the floor for WCT. If they want to really come back and win this game, it's there for the taking. It's 8 points with 6:16 to go. That is plenty of time to make an extended run, as WCT is already doing. So we'll see. It feels like a lot of guys can be on that last 5 for WCT. It feels like there's a core of even more than 5, I would say. So we'll see what they decide to go with here.
It is absolutely preposterous that WCT has been able to come back and make this a game. It was 13 at the end of the quarter, and Stearns led by as much as 21. But now an 8-point game and an opportunity to play in the final.
And I'm sure you'll see a different looking Stearns kind of team. I think they're going to lock back in. But can WCT match the intensity that Stearns had in the first half?
Coit, that one rims out. And yet another stop for WCT. Wells leaves it for Bashir. Bashir drives in, finished with the left, and he gets bumped by Selby. He'll go to the line for a pair.
Something that no one is going to talk about, Ryan Pettit getting that rebound in double covered, getting it up against 2 of the better rebounders for Stearns tonight. Give Ryan Pettit some credit. He's been a great spark plug off the bench.
Bashir knocked down the first free throw. He's been terrific tonight from the line, yet to miss. As he knocks down the second, we have a 6-point game.
I mean, this is just incredible from WCT. Even if they fall out of favor in this one, give them some credit. Down 20 and then to make this a 6-point game, this is amazing.
When you live and die by the isolation, sometimes it'll bite you in the butt, and that's what's happening now. Dortch, Amegwu defending, post, hook, short off the rim, offensive rebound, hits the top, Pettit saves it, here comes Wells. Andre Wells in transition, leaves it for Pettit. They'll reset, Pettit, spin move, bumped, and he'll go to the line. We are seeing a monumental comeback by WCT.
And that possession looked a little just disjointed at first. Wells had Amegwu at the top of the key for a 3, and then they gave it back to Pettit, and Pettit looked like he was going to give it to Bashir, but he just decided to do it himself, go straight to the lane. And nice job of he's not the quickest guy, but he can get to the rim at his own pace. Nice job drawing the contact there. And on that last defensive possession, got to give credit to Ian Amegwu too. Parker Dortch has been a problem just moving off the dribble from the corner towards the rim, and Amegwu just stuck in front of him, made that shot really tough, and got him the ball, helped get him the ball back. So everyone, it's all 5 guys really giving their all right now for WCT.
We might not have March Madness on our hands, but it might be an exhilarating August here.
We got Manasquan Madness.
Man, I'm impressed. That was great. Both of you guys there with the, I don't know what, the hyperboles, I think?
Alliteration, I
The
think.
haikus.
No, the alliterate haiku. What are we?
Haiku's a poem.
Poets?
I'm not a poet.
I got a very big vocabulary. Sometimes the wrong word pops out.
Ryan Pettit at the line for a deuce.
Yeah, looks like we have an extended cleanup break. I don't know what's taking so long. They have the mop. I don't really know why they're not using it. Parker Dortch finally brings some sense into the room and grabs the mop.
Where's Liam when you need him?
We saw a moonwalk by Jalen Gaffney.
He tried.
Before we saw the mop. So
He tried to moonwalk to clean it all up. I don't know why they didn't just grab the mop to begin with. I mean, it is on this side of the floor.
It's crazy. We got a Jalen Gaffney moonwalk before we got GTA 6.
I knew that was coming.
one thing that we haven't talked about that is insane, Jalen Gaffney, as we know, started his career at UConn. He was a starter on the FAU Final Four team, so definitely accustomed to playing in the big game.
Absolutely, and that FAU team made a miracle run to the Final Four. Excuse me. I mean, I was able to watch that up front at Madison Square Garden up close, and that was just an electric. All 5 guys on that team, whoever was on the floor, all 5 of them were interconnected. Dusty May built up a great system there, and now he's headed to Michigan. We'll see if he can build that same success.
Brought over a few of his guys. I believe What's the big man? Golden? Was it Golden?
Yeah, he brought Vlad Golden. He also got another 7-footer in Danny Wolf from Yale.
Smith drives, can't finish. Rebounded Bashir. Bashir bounce to Savoy. Swings it. Bashir, distance, no good. Offensive rebound to Megwu. He can't lay it in. Savoy on the floor. And it ends up in the hands of Wells, but that one's stolen away by Smith. Smith drives. He can't lay it in. We have madness.
I think the officials are really letting them play out there. There's been a ton of physicality these last two possessions with no
Is
whistles.
this football or
Total
basketball? Now they call it, and Coit will go to the line for 2.
I mean, what is going on?
I have no idea what just happened on those last two possessions. I mean, looked like Larry Smith reached in a little bit too much with the body.
I thought there was a
couple
whistle
of
too.
times. Yeah, that was insane. I mean, it looked like there should have been 2 or 3 fouls, honestly, on either side as well. And then I think the one on Wells was legit, as it looked like he was just trying to contest the shot by any means necessary. And another great attribute of Coits is his ability to just go up and draw the contact at the rim. Wells got high up and then just kind of crashed down on him. But
that takes us to the TV timeout. We'll stay here and talk. There's a lot to talk about because there's a lot that just happened.
yeah, absolutely.
You're not letting me talk in the TV timeout. This is it's an interesting strategy by you. But I'll tell you what, I think it's tough to really harp on the officials, but I mean, how are you going to let guys play through that and then you're going to call the foul? It's just an interesting way to ref the game. But I tell you what, there's going to be some points that you look at as turning points and some craziness that's gone on. I mean, it is August, it is football season, and you talk about the scrum that happened at Giants practice today. Kind of
That's
like
my
that.
quarterback.
I don't know about that. $40 million to a guy that can't even throw for over 3,500 yards, but
I mean, if you give him that line, that receiving core, I mean, Patrick Mahomes doesn't succeed.
hey, Alec, you want Daniel Jones in the Seahawks?
I'm okay with Geno Smith. Geno Smith, it was not his fault last year. That offensive line was bad and it was injured. That's the worst two combinations for an offense. The worst two combinations for an offensive line to make them bad is being injured and not having the same 5 guys. They had like 10 different offensive line combinations.
Yeah, continuity is huge on an offensive line. And
Oh.
Coit misses the first free throw, like you talked about, Alec. Stearns leaving a lot of points at the free throw line in this fourth quarter after a great first 3 quarters.
And not even that. It feels like a ball don't lie moment there for Coit.
Well, I mean, it definitely was a foul, just the fact that they didn't call the first 3 before it. 6-point lead, 4:30 left in this fourth quarter. It's Wells with it. Pick and pop. Leaves it for Bashir. Bashir posting up the smaller Smith, shoots it over, but as we know, Larry is locked down, gets the stop. Not the greatest shot by Bashir. Coit on the other end, can't get it to go, and Dortch lays it in for 2 on the second chance opportunity. Megwu sweet up and under, but couldn't finish. On the floor is Smith. Bashir from beyond the arc gets it to go.
And that's crazy, the difference between and that's what makes Abdi Bashir such at times a polarizing player, not like the most polarizing of players, but you see the good and the bad, and you see the first possession down the floor a few moments ago where he goes up in a shot where it's a little bit of an ill-advised shot, and then you see him open look, drain a 3. That's what makes Abdi Bashir such an interesting player and such a fun player to watch because he truly is a wild card in every offensive possession.
Well, Bashir has Larry Smith to thank there. As we know, it's 70-30 for him on a 50-50 ball. He got it on the ground and then kicked it right to Bashir, wide open in the corner. Coit gets by Wells, finish with the right, gets it to go. Diggy Coit having a phenomenal game for Stearns as he's keeping him in this, as the rest of the team has gone pretty dry in this fourth quarter. Bashir drives, lays it in with the right. He's so special of a scorer.
How is that not a foul? I mean, he is getting hacked and whacked and still nothing getting called.
Coit yet again. Seems they'll be going to him a lot down the stretch. Gets the screen, the cross, the 3, good! Diggy Coit from beyond the arc to extend the lead to 8.
And Diggy Coit digging into his bag there. Had Pettit on him, knew he had an advantage off the dribble. and got into his hezzy crossover, and that is an easy 3 off the dribble for him.
Bashir loses the handle. It's in the hands of Dortch. Dortch the finish with the right. It's a double-digit lead for Stearns.
Missed opportunities for WCT are going to end up coming to bite them in the behind, and that's one right there.
And yet another turnover is now, it's not looking good for WCT after what was once a terrific comeback. But when you give up 115 points, and there's still 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to play, it's going to be hard to win any game.
Yeah, really, it does feel like that. Stearns has just locked in defensively. I mean, they've gotten into the passing lanes, made a lot of tough plays, and they have just gotten into the right mentality. On defense, just get into the passing lanes and try to restrict any shot that you can. And on offense, it's give the ball to Diggy Coit and get the heck out of the way on offense.
He has been terrific, without a doubt. If Stearns ends up pulling out this victory, there's a lot of different players you could argue for player of the game. Larry Smith, definitely atop that list, has been terrific on both ends. Has gotten a lot of stops on Bashir when they needed it the most. Obviously, Diggy Coit, as he's their offensive firecracker.
I mean, not even that, but for Larry Smith, and the thing that won't go noticed is how good he's been on the defensive end of the floor, just being as a straight-up guard. Guarding, being able to guard Bashir, being able to guard Andre Wells. He might be one of the best defenders in this league pound for pound, and he showed it tonight.
Good finish there from Coit. And it's a 12-point lead with 2 minutes left now. Wells, spin, sweep behind the back dish, but Savoy couldn't finish.
It's kind of been the story of these last 3 minutes, and oh my goodness, that's just brutal. That is preposterous.
It looked like Pettit took an elbow to the face without a call. He was trying to clear out.
Smith couldn't lay it in, gets his own rebound, kicks it out for Gaffney. Gaffney will reset as he gets it to Coit. Coit gets the screen, crosses, step back. 3, no good. Rebounded by Pettit. And that one tipped by Gaffney. Smith, the finish, gets it to go. And I think that all but does it.
And give Stearns Trailer a lot of credit. They'll be advancing to their 3rd straight finals and doing it in really dominant fashion over these last 2 minutes. Almost a little bit of an uneasy feeling for them as WCT was able to cut the lead to 6. But the veteran experience that they have, the talent that they've had at college, but not even that in this league, they're winners for a reason, and they've shown it tonight.
Yeah, just a really good job of just locking in defensively. I mean, they've just been able to make the right plays, and they kind of settled down on offense as well. They weren't making the same ill-advised passes and taking the same bad shots that they were. And again, they've just been able to get in the passing lanes that have created opportunities for them on the offensive end as Mercado comes in for a Megwu. It's just been a great last couple of minutes of play for Stearns Trailer. They have focused and locked in, and it's really paid off as they have bolted ahead in this game, and it's looking like they're going to go back to their 3rd straight finals appearance.
Coit knocks them both down. It's now Wells, leaves it for Pettit. Pettit drives into the double, spins, can't finish. And a lot of contact there, but no call. Jones pushing, sweet feed in. Dortch can't finish, but the rebound goes to Smith. Less than a minute left to play.
I mean, Ryan Pettit has taken an absolute beating in these past 2 minutes.
Hey, yeah, as he took a tough shot on the rebound attempt off his own miss. That was ugly.
And there's a shot clock violation. Good defensive possession there from WCT. But a shot clock's not the end of the world there, because then that means you use as much clock as possible. And in this situation, the clock is most certainly in your favor.
Looks like we got Mike Amon in the building here on the Ortho team that lost to WCT a few days ago. Looks like he's here to support Seaview Jeep.
Savoy couldn't knock down the triple. 30 seconds left. And this is the last possession that Stearns needs with the shot clock. Looks like they might dribble it out. Just kidding. Jones attempts to slam it in, but can't. Mercado pushing. He finishes with the left.
Got
6 seconds left.
I don't really know. Mercado just kind of tipped it out on the inbound. I don't know what he was doing there.
How about Stearns trailer?
And Coit will dribble it out. Leaves it for Gaffney. And Stearns trailer advances to their 3rd straight championship as they'll take on the winner of either Seaview Jeep or RKA Athletic.
They've had to do it with a completely different cast of characters as well this year, and it doesn't matter. They just find ways to get guys and put them in the right positions to succeed, and they'll have Kevin Mateo back tomorrow, which is a big get for them as well.
And, I mean, this was a great game for Stearns, and they really locked in those last couple of minutes as well to seal this one. But can't say enough about the effort that WCT put out there. I mean, they were dead in the water coming into this third quarter. They made it to within a 2-possession game. Unfortunately, couldn't bring it home, but a great run for the 6th seed and a great season overall for WCT.
And to take out even Northern New Jersey, who had gone to 4 straight championship games, that's a great season. And as a 6th seed to make it to the second round, I wouldn't trade that if I was a WCT player.
That'll do it for our post-game coverage. Stay tuned for our post-game interview, which we will come back for shortly.
Alec Cradamo here with our Jersey Shore Basketball League player of the game. This is Parker Dortch from Stearns Trailer after a 26.9 rebound performance in the semifinal victory for Stearns over WCT Warriors to head your 3rd straight finals appearance for Stearns Trailer. First off, Parker, I mean, what was the intensity like here in the playoffs?
The intensity was electric. You know, we had a lot of energy out on the court between the guys. You know, a little bit of trash talking just to get both sides going, and me, Diggy, and Jalen, and we all grew up together. So that trash talking stuff ain't nothing new to us. So that just gives us energy, and I think that got the team started, and you know, we started getting up and down the court.
And for you, one of those wings off the dribble that can really do a lot of damage. What did you think about your guys' offensive game tonight?
You know, we kind of just see who's feeling it tonight. Jalen Gaffney had a big game today. Diggy was feeling it. Larry was crashing the boards. You know, we had mismatches. So we kind of just feed off each other. We all know what we can do. You know, Gene in the mid-range, Selby on the board. So just reading defense, seeing what they give us, and attacking that.
Absolutely, and it seemed like WCT was starting to get back into this game after you guys had built a big lead. They got it down to 6, and then you guys really closed it out. What was said in the huddle to try to focus in and lock in and close it out?
Defense, prioritize defense. You know, once we get a lead and we kind of play around, you know, it's fun to play out here. Good competition, good basketballs, but having fun out there, it's easy to just get lackadaisical and let the other team come back, and that's exactly what happened today. So we called that timeout, got our minds right, said we had to reset our mind, and we went out there and did what we had to do.
Absolutely. And Stearns Trailer headed to their 3rd consecutive finals appearance, won the last 2. How are you guys preparing for tomorrow night?
Just doing what we do regularly. You know, I honestly believe nobody in this league can really hang with us. So once we lock in and do what we got to do, we're going to be good.
Well, Parker, talked to you earlier this year. Any updates on your future plans after your days at Loyola Marymount?
Nah, not right now. You know, it's just living regular life, playing basketball. I really enjoy just working out and being able to get on courts in different leagues and do what I get to do. So no future plans with that.
Absolutely. Well, Parker Dortch, our JSBL Player of the Game, after a 26-point, 9-rebound performance and a semifinal victory over WC2 Warriors. They'll play in the finals tomorrow night. Parker, great game and good luck tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.